freight dog is a pilot who is very proud to be a freight pilot, and they're proud of everything. From the crappy equipment that they fly to the grungy appearance that they have and the aroma that'll probably keep the ladies away for a long time. But it's not, you know, it's a term of endearment to them, but when somebody else refers to that person as a freight dog, they are not paying them a compliment. That term is synonymous with airplanes like this, and they just kind of go hand in hand. Well, this is a 1957 E-model Beech 18, but it's also a family heirloom that I'm very, very sentimental about. My dad bought this airplane in 1982, the year after I was born, and he hauled freight in it until I graduated high school. So he personally put 8,000 hours on this airframe, all by himself. And I grew up washing and fueling and oiling this airplane, and during the Christmas rush, you know, when I was out of school, I'd be fortunate enough to get to go on the freight runs. So it's, for a lot of reasons, this airplane is very, very sentimental to me. Late last year, a friend of mine who ended up with the airplane last called me and said that he was ready to get rid of it. And so he made me a deal I couldn't refuse on it, and we went out and spent the better part of a month putting it back together because he had partially disassembled it, and it had sat for 18 years, not flying. I can't even think of all the new parts and pieces that we had to put on it, you know, to safely bring it home, and then the ones we put on it to continue safe operations after that. But it's been a labor of love, and you know, we went out and stayed in my camper in Western Kansas for almost 3 weeks. You know, my crew chief Jeff Gibbs and I and his apprentice Tyler, and they, like I said, you know, 12-hour days, you know, working a week at a time, maybe sometimes a little bit more, and I can't even describe the emotions. The first time I flew this airplane from the left seat was on the test flight in April of this year after we put it all back together. You know, a couple of days ago, I did my first jump run in this airplane ever with my lovely wife as my co-pilot, and it was her first flight in the airplane, and it just went off flawlessly. And then yesterday, my friend Doug Rosendahl dropped the jumpers out of it, and I got to watch it take off for the first time since I was in high school. So it just continues to be, you know, I can't even describe it. You know, when I was able to reacquire the airplane, it brought me back to my childhood where my hero was a freight dog. And I thought, you know what, how cool would it be to put the cargo liner back in it and the nets and all of the stuff that it used when it was making a living, and bring it up here and dangle it as a carrot to some of these guys to come over and, you know, bring back some memories and get on film and actually tell us some of their stories. I thought, well, I've been trying to honor them for years, and now I've got a tool and a film crew that'll help me do that for real. So this needs to happen, and that's why it's here in this configuration. And you know, every time I shake one of those guys' hands, you know, I hope they understand how much I look up to them. Well, it's incredible. This is a state-of-the-art 1988 instrument panel. I mean, the most high-tech stuff that they had back in the day. And the radios and the transponders still work like they're brand new. And, you know, it's got a Loran and a ADF and a DME in it. And this Century 3 autopilot that actually came out in this airplane, or that was installed in this airplane in later years, my grandfather designed that. That's actually his design. I have the prototype for that autopilot sitting on a shelf at home. And so to have, it's like my whole family's in this airplane. You know, this is Dad's airplane, but Grandpa can fly it anytime he wants. And like I said, I just can't begin to describe the sentiments and the emotions that come to mind when I just think about this is just home.